Yes, people, what's going on? It's HIJACK Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Let's get this show started. Bang. Yes, people, what's going on? It's HIJACK Talks Football. We're back again with another video. I haven't been live in a little bit, but please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. We got to talk about this whole Viktor Gyökeres situation, as there's so much misinformation floating about with everything going regarding to Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal. We're going to debunk all the fake rumors, all the misinformation, everything that's being thrown about needs to be put in the bin. So we're going to discuss that. There's also some other transfer news that we need to discuss, some stuff about the preseason, just so many little things that we need to touch on that which we didn't really get to talk about yet. So please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. And let's get this show started. And I'm going to actually start with, I'm going to save the Viktor Gyökeres stuff for a little bit later. But please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think about everything regarding to Arsenal so far. I'm going to start with the preseason and just mention something regarding preseason. I'm quite happy to say there's a bunch of the guys, a bunch of first team players headed out on preseason, and we haven't had this in a while. Let's be honest. When was the last time you can remember a large majority of our first team players heading out on preseason tour? This is very refreshing, and it's very refreshing to see. So I'm going to start off with an update on the whole preseason situation, and we'll get to the transfer news in a minute. Hope everyone's doing well. Haven't been live in it feels like a week, but it's only been a couple days. Last time I was live was on Friday. Since then, I've just been giving you guys uploads and trying to keep you guys posted. But this is the first little bit of decent news that we need to discuss. So we're going to get onto it. Since we last spoke, we found out how many players are going to be headed on the preseason tour. And as you can see, you got new signings, Kepa, Zubimendi in the building. Trossard's still there. Obviously, Saliba, Gabriel is back from injury. You see all the main starters and all the main players in the first team here, in addition to some players coming back from loan with Sambi Lokonga, Reece Nelson, some of the academy youngsters, also all up here in the team. And who are these people and who's joining us for preseason tour? I'll show you guys in a second. But before we go any further, I just wanted to quickly mention it is wonderful to have majority of the first team players in there ready to go. So look at that. You got David Raya, you got pretty much the whole back line ready to go for preseason. The midfield is already sorted with Declan Rice, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Norgard. Everybody's there. Even you got Mikel Arteta and all those guys there. The front line, yes, the front line is the main issue right now, where we haven't signed Gyökeres yet. Madueke has gone on preseason tour, and it's really going to be Havertz, Martinelli, and Saka to start the first couple preseason games. Hopefully, we can get more of these guys in, but at this moment in time, it is refreshing to see that we have majority of the players ready to go for preseason. I'm quite excited about Arsenal preseason, and just to tell you guys a little bit more about preseason, and before we get started on to the main topic. Now, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. I want to let you know a lot of the Arsenal youngsters that are going to be joining us for preseason we're just in that image, but you guys don't probably know who they are specifically. So I'm going to break down everything quickly before we go on to the transfers, as it is crucial to know who's actually going to be on the preseason tour. So yeah, this is the preseason tour list. As you can see here, goalkeepers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 goalkeepers. And just so you guys know what's happened with the other goalkeepers, well, some of these goalkeepers are not going to be joining us, and the reason being, where is it? Oh, shit. You know when you're looking for something? So the fact that we don't have a couple of the main goalkeepers, academy goalkeepers in there, they're either going on loan, like Karl Hein is not included on this list. Reason why Karl Hein is not included, he's going to be trying to get a permanent move. The youngster, which we purchased last year, is not on this list. He's also going to be trying to get a loan move. You got Saliba, Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, Kivior, Zinchenko, Calafiori, Mazzucchelli, Nicholas, which is the youngster, and Solomon. Midfield, Norgard, Moreno, Lokonga's still there. Zubimendi finally joined the team. Rice and the youngster Kopo. Attack-wise, we have Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Ethan, Reece Nelson, Havertz, and then a couple of youngsters, plus Max Dowman being actually included as an attacker rather than a midfielder. Very interesting to say so myself. So yeah, these are the youngsters that are going to be joining the team to fill out the 30-man squad to head over to Singapore. And before we get on to any more transfer news, I just wanted to quickly touch on that, as I'm quite excited about Arsenal's preseason. Who does Arsenal have this preseason? Well, in case you guys don't know, on Wednesday, we play against AC Milan. Yes, we play against AC Milan on Wednesday. That is to start our preseason. And then we play Newcastle, Tottenham, and then we're back to face Villarreal. After we face Villarreal, we're going to be back for the Emirates Cup. And Emirates Cup is going to be a 2-game period. So there's only 3 games that are going to happen in Asia. And this game, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be taking place in the Emirates. But yeah, everything else from there, we have less than a month away before we play Manchester United. So we have to be prepared for that. And how we're going to watch these games, you're going to have to either pay for it on the Arsenal website, or we're going to have to just wait until the highlights get released the next day in case you don't want to watch it. But yeah, you can get all of the preseason games for, what is it, $9.99, under £10 for all the preseason games. So you can check that out on the Arsenal website. But before we go any further, is there anything else that I've missed with the preseason tour and everything that I need to talk about preseason? Well, you know, the players are going to be who the players are that are going to be there. They're leaving today. They're actually on the tour bus. The plane left yesterday. The Arsenal Asia tour bus is ready, as they're going to be on tour. We've already spoken about some of the other signings on the previous video that we did on Friday. Oh, here we go. This is important. You guys need to know this. The likes of Fabio Vieira has been given an extended break after he featured in Porto's Club World Cup, and Fabio Vieira will not be featuring in the preseason. As for Gabriel Jesus, he is injured and remains in London to recover from his knee injury, hence why he has not joined the preseason also. So in case you guys were wondering what's going on with the preseason situation, that's what's been going on with preseason. That's what's been going on with those players, and that's pretty much giving you an update on everything you need to know around Arsenal's preseason and Arsenal preseason tour. Now, Arsenal did play a behind closed door friendly yesterday, and we don't know exactly who scored, but rumor has it that it could be 3 goals, 3-0 versus Watford. Some rumors even coming out saying 2-0 Watford. I asked around to see what anybody knew about what the goals, who scored, how many goals were scored, who actually scored the goals. Not too much information's actually gone around there, so I'm not gonna give you guys false information. But reportedly, from people that have been telling me stuff, they said that Havertz, Norgard, and either Lokonga or Trossard. I'm not sure who the other person who scored is, but the last report that I seen was some people saying it was originally, the original report was 2-0, then got moved to 3-0. But one thing we do know is Norgard scored, Havertz scored. The other one, it's not 100% official, but rumors are it's either Trossard or Lokonga. I'm not sure which one it actually is. Arsenal haven't officially mentioned anything on their website about that situation, but the players are headed on the Asia tour, and we are now starting to get the images coming through from the Asia tour right now as we speak. As you can see here, the images are coming in of all the players on the Asia tour getting ready, as the tour bus is getting ready, and the players are getting themselves sorted and all ready for the tour themselves. Now, before we go any further, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. We got over 800 people on all platforms. On YouTube alone, we have 272 of you guys in the building. Let's get to some of the transfer news, as that is one of the main reasons why you guys are here. You're not here only for preseason talk. You're here for the main thing, the main course. So I'm going to let's start with Christhian Mosquera, because we got we seen an image of Christhian Mosquera the other day when everything came out with the other day when everything came out with when Madueke got announced. We seen the image of Christhian Mosquera, right? The Christhian Mosquera images that surfaced, they were real. Don't get it twisted for 1 second. They were real images, but what's gone on is we haven't seen any more new information on Christhian Mosquera yet. Why? I'm going to get to that in a second. But last time I checked, 18 hours ago, we got an update from my boy, Hand of Arsenal, giving us an update on what's going on with Christhian Mosquera. And here's the breakdown. He said on the 19th that there was delays on the paperwork, and I was told with confidence that the documents are being prepared for the signature of Christhian Mosquera. As stated, these should always be handled with diligently and honor. Final steps near completion before the Spaniard officially becomes an Arsenal player. So this was almost 24 hours ago. This was being reported to us that the situation is escalating and it should be finished soon. We're going to wait and see what happens there. But at this moment in time, that is the last report that I've seen about Christhian Mosquera. I'm just going to check if there's any other reports floating about. Yeah, there is. Here we go. Let me pull this up for you guys. This came from Ryan Taylor Sport. Reportedly said that Christhian Mosquera completed his medical test on Wednesday and has already conducted his club media duties, and the 16.5 million pound switch from Valencia is being ratified, although it hopes he'll be able to travel to Asia soon. It's unfortunate he didn't get to go on the plane with the team right away, but he will definitely be with the team very soon, as being reported from multiple sources that he's already done his medical, he's already done his media duty, as we've seen the images already. He just now needs to finish dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and he will be an Arsenal player very, very soon. So yeah, there you go with the Christhian Mosquera situation. That is pretty straightforward what's going on with that. We already know about Christhian Mosquera, so we're going to wait and see what happens with him. In the meanwhile, there is some other topics that we need to discuss, some more pressing issues, and some things that just have been super annoying. More or less, the main thing that I've been annoyed by is the fact that Viktor Gyökeres is still not an Arsenal player. And where is Viktor Gyökeres at this moment in time? Now, Sporting are looking to get a replacement for Viktor Gyökeres, and we will speak about every single aspect of the Viktor Gyökeres deal before we get to the main issue of today's video, which is, Man United are looking at him. I don't believe that for 1 second. But first, let's go to Sporting. Sporting are looking for a replacement for Viktor Gyökeres, right? Sporting are looking for a replacement for Viktor Gyökeres. Sporting's replacement for Viktor Gyökeres is supposed to be Luis Suarez, not the same Luis Suarez who used to play for Barcelona, in case you guys are wondering. He currently, the president of the club that Luis Suarez plays for, warned Sporting that they are willing to move forward and negotiate with other clubs if they're from their desire for Viktor Gyökeres replacement. So they could potentially lose. They could potentially lose their Viktor Gyökeres replacement if they don't get their negotiation situation sorted quicker. And at this moment in time, the Luis Suarez situation with Sporting is very interesting, because Luis Suarez could potentially be shopped around to other clubs, and Sporting are in a very delicate situation now. Either they deal with the Viktor Gyökeres situation quickly so they can focus on signing their next player, or they could have a situation where their situation is very interesting, as they might not get their Viktor Gyökeres replacement, as they could end up losing both of them now. In the case that they end up losing both Viktor Gyökeres and the backup, the signing for Viktor Gyökeres, they're going to have to find somebody else to then bring in to replace Viktor Gyökeres. And it could just make the situation even more difficult for Sporting, not necessarily Arsenal, because we know what we want. And from the last 24, 48 hours, There's just been so much reporting around this. So buckle up. This is going to be a fun ride. We're going to start with the reports from Portugal before we go to what's coming from the UK. Okay. In Portugal, there were reports flying around left, right, and center since the 18th, right? So since the 18th, this is what's been reported. Let me start here. Boom. Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal. An agreement was close between Arsenal and Viktor Gyökeres. This was reported from Ben Jacobs. The price and everything was agreed back on the 18th. So on the 18th, this deal was pretty much done and dusted, right? On the 18th, this deal was done and dusted. I don't know why we were hearing that this was fully agreed and no issues were going to happen from there, but it's Sporting. This is what Sporting do. What happened then? Sporting then go and try to find their replacement. They know who their replacement is. Shouldn't be a problem, right? They're advancing on signing their replacement for 25 million euros. So they're going to sell Viktor Gyökeres. They're going to sign their replacement for 25 million euros. No problem, right? Then the deal stalls. The deal stalls over the breakup and the breakdown of the 10 million add-ons. Arsenal want to make it 10 million, which is achievable easily, 10 million, which is difficult to achieve. You know what I mean? So easy achievements, difficult achievements. 5 million, whatever, right? At this point, you've already agreed on the total package of how much you're going to get. You're haggling over pennies to the dollar compared to the overall deal. Then goes the next thing. No sacking or pay cut. Sporting will demand a fine or call of Gyökeres to apologize, and said they see the transfer process resolved as quick as possible. So they're now asking for Gyökeres to apologize, according to Record Portugal. They want him to apologize for his conduct in this whole transfer debacle, because he's, one, not reported to Sporting, two, he has basically told them, I will not ever show up again, and then three, he told them, I only want Arsenal Football Club, I don't want any other club. So they're basically saying you have to apologize on how you've conducted yourself, and they're not going to sack him, they're not going to give him a pay cut, they're just quite upset at him. So the deal is now, 15 hours ago, reports are that the deal could collapse. The deal is at risk of collapsing. And the reason why the deal is at risk of collapsing, they keep changing it. Every time they keep changing it. They're saying one time it's 5 million, one time it's 2 million, one time it's 50, one time it's 2.5 million. To me, it doesn't really make a difference. I find it highly unlikely that they're going to collapse over 2.5 million, for example, that the whole deal is going to fall apart over something so minuscule compared to what they're actually talking about. And the reports constantly are coming from Portugal. The reports are constantly coming from one of the more unreliable sources. And this source specifically, what do they call again? They're a big company, but they're known for over exaggerating things to help selling clubs. They've done this for Benfica in the past when they were trying to sell Enzo Fernandez to over to Chelsea, and this has been an ongoing situation for a while. They even start linking Arsenal to clubs, Viktor Gyökeres to clubs like Atletico Madrid. This is what they do. Now, here's where things get interesting, right? You got ZRAFC. ZRAFC posted something last night that was absolutely hilarious. So he posted something about Viktor Gyökeres, which I found to be hysterical. So we've already spoken about the Ben Jacobs stuff. We've already spoken about everything. Arsenal are departing on their preseason tour Asia without Viktor Gyökeres as talks continue with Sporting. We've already got Kepa, Norgard, Zubimendi on the plane. Mosquera, deal not done, but he will be joining us. Max Dahman expected. Jesus is out. So we already know about that. Arsenal's quite upset that they couldn't get their leading striker that they wanted to bring in on the preseason tour. But what's going on, right? What's going on? This here is hilarious. So Arsenal will weigh up an excusing Gyökeres from the preseason tour although the total agreement cannot be struck between Sporting by early next week. So they might even not have him for the whole preseason tour in Asia. And this should frustrating delays as Arsenal considering keeping Gyökeres in London as opposed to flying him solo to Asia to protect his conditioning ahead of the new Premier League season. So now, because the whole deal has been delayed, this is now going to delay Gyökeres, and Gyökeres is not going to have a proper preseason with Arsenal. Gyökeres' whole preseason is going to now be negatively impacted because of this whole situation. So forget about the deal collapsing. The deal is not going to collapse. But Arsenal are now putting in make-safes for Gyökeres and his preseason. So Gyökeres is not going to have a good preseason with Arsenal. The preseason that we were going to have, our regular preseason, is now going down the drain. His preseason is now going to be preparing for the new season by himself for majority of the next couple of weeks. Arsenal is going to be back from Asia. When are we going to be back? We're going to most likely be back early August. So for the rest of the month, he's going to be either training by himself or training with Arsenal, as they're going to need to have him ready to go for the remainder of the year, and they don't want to have him fly by himself and put too much fly miles on him. Now, the lack of confidence in the deal is led by Gyökeres' father. What the hell is going on here? This, I don't even want to read it. I'm just going to have the audio read it for you guys. You guys just listen, because I find this hilarious.
Sportal found that the lack of confidence in the deal led Gyökeres' father falling into tears on Friday. He is emotionally shaken. The tears of the parent do not sensitize Sporting, who believes that everything is part of a strategy to pressure.
This is getting weird. This is getting weird.
Federico Varandas maintains the uncompromising position in relation to the format of the sale. He wants the totality of the variable €10 million to be easily achieved. Arsenal, in turn, accepts to reach a maximum of €5 million of easy objectives.
Okay. So you honestly believe they're going to have the whole deal fall apart due to how the add-ons get paid? I think that's crazy to say so myself. And I find it hilarious that they're making articles about how the man's father is falling into tears on Friday. What are these guys doing? Do they honestly think we're stupid? Sitting here listening to articles about how the man's father is falling into tears. Now, thank God we got the hand of Arsenal coming out here telling people to calm their asses down, because then he's finally telling us what's actually going on and how Arsenal and Gyökeres' camp are very relaxed about the situation, and there is constant communication between the two of them. So obviously it's a sensitive time. Let's hear the rest of it.
Important to choose my words carefully during the final sensitive steps. The player awaits the signal to fly for his medical. One source tells me he was in Mallorca yesterday, but I am yet to confirm that. Allow me the grace to report as and when, health permitting. Much love.
Yeah, big up hand of Arsenal giving us reports, even though he's not feeling 100% well at this moment in time. And then, yeah, so with that being said, there's so many different updates. The last hour we had that it's understood that Manchester United, one second, let's go back to this. So now you guys are caught up. Let's get to the point where they start talking crazy, because this is where they start talking crazy. Manchester United are now very close on an agreement with Viktor Gyökeres with numbers very close to those negotiated with Arsenal. Now, first of all, you got to realize Arsenal have submitted 3 bids for Viktor Gyökeres, finally got the 3rd bid accepted, and this is a situation that has been ongoing for well over a month now with Arsenal. But for them to say Manchester United are very close to signing Viktor Gyökeres or close to an agreement for Viktor Gyökeres, Manchester United are making a late bid for Viktor Gyökeres, Manchester United are trying to hijack Viktor Gyökeres, this is all a power play from Sporting side, and I'll explain to you guys how. First, this is not the most reliable source. In case you guys don't know, the actual Sporting page puts reliable sources and unreliable sources and fairly reliable sources on each post. As you can see, this one here doesn't even have a source rating because that's how unreliable they are. As for the next one, they're fairly reliable. It says that Ruben Amorim and Sporting are on the verge of a deal for Gyökeres. Manchester United made an approach, and of course, Arsenal always basically they're trying to make an approach to see what they can get. Right. Then you got another one here saying Manchester United are very close to an agreement between Gyökeres, but he maintains the position that he only wants to play for Arsenal. Ruben Amorim and the Red Devils are negotiating with a value demanded by the what? Am I reading that correctly? Let me get this. This doesn't make sense. Sorry.
Ruben Amorim's Red Devils are negotiating within the values demanded by the SAD, but Old Trafford is not in the players' plans.
You see, that threw me off. Why is just by the SAD? What's SAD? Is that the sporting director's name? I'm so confused. But yeah, who the hell is SAD? Somebody tell me. I think that's the sporting director's initials or name. But then Fabrizio Romano finally comes, puts everything to bed, and says Viktor Gyökeres maintains clear position despite links with Manchester United. He wants Arsenal, total priority to Arsenal's project since June, no change of plans. So all of that for absolutely nothing. All of that for absolutely nothing. All of us just to be back in the same situation, and all of that for all of us just to be back in the same exact situation, just for them to say that United wants him, United spoke to Sporting, United did this, United did that, all for them to just be back at Arsenal. Excuse me, what are we doing here? Honestly, what are we doing here? So you're telling me all of this was being put in circles, all of this happened just for Fabrizio Romano to come and put all that shit to bed and say, you guys are talking shit. You guys are chatting shit. That's basically what he said. Viktor Gyökeres maintains clear position despite Manchester United links with Manchester United and more clubs, including Atletico Madrid, of course. He wants Arsenal. Total priority to Arsenal's project since June. No change in plans with his agent, on the same page with Gyökeres. Gyökeres only wants Arsenal. Gyökeres only wants to come to Arsenal. All this stuff has been a whole farce. And I think this has been coming from Portugal intentionally, as they're briefed from Sporting to put stuff out there to try to push Arsenal into moves. So they're making up fake stories to try to push Arsenal into a position of negotiation. They're trying to push Arsenal into a situation where they're creating some sort of bidding war with a club that's not actually has a chance to sign the player. There is no chance for them to sign him. There is no chance for Viktor Gyökeres to go to Manchester United at this moment in time. Arsenal are going to get Viktor Gyökeres. Arsenal are going to sign Viktor Gyökeres. This has all been done from Sporting, made up by Sporting to force our hand and to try to get us shook, to try to get us scared, to try to get us worried that we're going to have to now get the deal done quicker. Of course, Manchester United want Viktor Gyökeres. Of course, Ruben Amorim wants his former player. Of course, there's a long-standing interest with Viktor Gyökeres and Manchester United. Has there been an actual bid? Has there been an actual bid? Well, let me tell you guys this. Friend of the show, Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs has come out and said there has not been a bid or anything from Manchester United. All of this was made up from Sporting. And everyone's sitting here telling us, oh, just pay the money. Just pay the money. Sporting are going to, negotiating with Sporting is like negotiating with terrorists. Anytime you give them anything, they're going to want more. What's the chances they release the hostages? No chances. What's the chances they leave you alone and they don't come back and try to do it again? What's the chances? At this point, Viktor Gyökeres is a hostage. They don't want to. We've offered them more than what they asked twice. We've now offered them exactly what they want twice, and they are still pulling teeth for more. You give them if you give them the add-ons the way they want, what's the chance of them now coming back and saying, "Oh, forget about the add-ons, we want it guaranteed"? What's the chance of them saying, "Forget about the add-ons, we want $5 more million at guaranteed"? What's the chance of them saying this whole deal is being held up for ransom because he held them for ransom? At a certain point, the negotiations with a team, you don't have too many bargaining chips. At some point, things are going to negatively impact them because it's going to impact them from future sales on who they want to bring in because they're holding up the Gyökeres deal. They could lose their target, as I said earlier in the stream. And all of this stuff is just making them look really, really bad, in my opinion. Everyone's talking about Arsenal. Just pay the money. Just pay the money. Hey, I've been saying it, man. I've been saying it. Sporting are moving funny. But yeah, people talking about Liverpool and Ekitike trying to make a comparison. Guys, Liverpool paid a price. They agreed, and then that was it. If you try to do the same thing with Sporting, you reach the price, and they're still going to lie to you and say, "Hey, give us more." Their practices are honestly not right. And they've done this. They've done this in the past. They've done this to people in the past, and I can show you. They've done this so many times in the past. So many times. And you know something? You can do something to get the best deal for your team. But when you do this on a regular basis and you're known for this, it's a whole different story. They're known for this. Sporting is known for this. Sporting's agent is known for this. He did this. This guy has had players who left the club because their contract ended and still got 30 million. Their contract ended. The player's contract ended. The player was out of contract. He left on a free and they still got 30 million. How? How do you get 30 million for a player who left? Are you guys seeing this? Enforce the 30 million sell-on clause for a player who was out of contract. How are you enforcing a 30 million sell-on clause? How? I'm so confused. These guys are something else. Look at this. Initially free, but after FIFA mandated a 22 million compensation. Excuse me? 22 million compensation? What the hell's going on? These guys took Atletico Madrid to court for a player who's initially a free transfer. Okay. This is not enough. Player refused to go to training, demands clarity from third-party fees. Okay. What else is there? Viktor Gyökeres, of course. Canceled deal, then sold for 40 million. So they canceled his deal and then sold him for 40 million euros. They held out for 70 million for Bruno Fernandes and sold him for 65. So they did this to Manchester United in the past. And it's to the point where they've done this to players in the past. Look at this. You got a situation where Pedro Porro was being sold from Sporting, and he was distraught by how the president was dealing him. You had a situation where Bruno Fernandes said, "You cut off my leg. You cut off my leg in the summer, and I waited until January." So in the summer, he was supposed to leave. He said, "You cut off my leg based off you did not allow me to move in the summer, and now you're still messing around in the January window." This is what they do, guys. This is what they do. This is what this director does. This is who he is. These guys are moving mad. But hey, that's the situation with Viktor Gyökeres. It is a very, very weird, crazy situation. And I literally just pointed out that all of that was for nothing, and we broke it all down. Now let's go to what's going on with the rest of the stuff. In case you guys don't know, so the reports came out that it was actually a 2-0. It was actually a 2-0 win yesterday behind closed doors, and it was actually Havertz and Ben White who scored. So yeah, it was actually Havertz and Ben White who scored. It wasn't a situation yet. So there you go. Havertz and Ben White who scored, and it was a 2-0 win versus Watford yesterday behind closed doors. What else happened? We already spoke about this. This is very interesting. So Ali Berta, who's also Madueke's agent, has offered the services of Xavi Simons to Arsenal. Xavi Simons is apparently available for 56 million pounds. What do you call it? RB Leipzig need to sell. They need cash influx, so they're going to want to sell the player, and Arsenal are one of the clubs that are interested. So, in the case that we don't go for Eze, Xavi Simons is an option, and I don't mind Xavi Simons. I like both Xavi Simons and Eze, but I would prefer Arsenal to go and pull the trigger on a Eze rather than a Xavi Simons at this moment in time. But Ali Berta, who was involved in the Arsenal deal for Noni Madueke, has offered us Xavi Simons. Now, he also offered us Nicolas Jackson. And as we spoke about this on Friday, we spoke about Nicolas Jackson on Friday. Nicolas Jackson was offered to Arsenal. Arsenal have declined. Nicolas Jackson was offered to Arsenal. Arsenal declined. This happened around the same time that we were working on the Madueke deal, as he has a similar agent. And there you go. So all this stuff about Jackson to Arsenal, it's not happening. You don't have to worry about that. No pressure, no stress. No, we don't even have to think about that twice anymore. We can just move on. That was a nothing story to begin with. And it's good to hear that is not going to be anywhere, that Jackson is not going to be anywhere near Arsenal. And we've already signed 2 Chelsea players. And there you go. Arsenal turning down a Chelsea project signing. So it makes me very happy to see. We don't need to go through that again. Imagine if we signed Jackson. That would have been an absolute chaotic scene online with how people were reacting to Madueke, including myself. So very happy that that's now over and we don't have to worry about that. And finally, looks like we're going to be spending money on youngsters, signing young academy players coming in from wherever this is. Is this in Ireland? Yeah. So Arsenal might be spent. We got some money that we gave out to. Wait 1 second. You guys believe everything. Cope harder. You never walk alone. You know what I don't get about Liverpool fans? You guys won the league. You guys are making good signings. Why are you so bothered by Arsenal? We're here just talking about Arsenal. We're not even talking about your club. You guys signed Ekitike today. Great signing for you guys. Nobody's here talking about Liverpool. All of a sudden, you're in the chat, giving it the big one. I'm confused. What did we do? But yeah, quickly, let's get to this Irish youngster. So we have Arsenal are close to signing Shamrock Rovers midfielder Viktor. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Let's see if AI can help me with that, or speech can help me with that.
Ozhianvuna.
Ozhianvuna would be record-breaking 2 million due to the British export rules. The Irishman would be able to join Arsenal. He won't be able to join Arsenal until he's 18 in January of 2027. So we would sign him for 2 million. He wouldn't be able to join Arsenal until he's 18 in January of 2027. That is very, very interesting situation right there. Basically trying to get one of the best upcoming youngsters from Shamrock Rovers over there in Ireland. It looks like we're just trying to improve the academy as much as we can, obviously, at this moment in time. And Arsenal have given a lot of money to Per Mertesacker to figure out what the best course of action is for him. And yeah, anybody who's talking about Alexander Isak, that's not happening. Newcastle are keeping Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak is not going anywhere. let's keep it 110%. That is most likely the situation with Alexander Isak. He's not leaving, and he's going to be most likely staying over there at Newcastle. Why would he leave Newcastle? Even Al Hilal have been interviewing and asking about him. I think it's very unlikely. Now, finally, the reports about Rodrygo are speculation. These are not official, serious reports. This is caught offside. They're basically giving us an opinion piece from a journalist over in Spain. They've already launched the 80 million euro bid. Arsenal transfer to Noni Madueke will not impact the signing of Rodrygo. They've already launched the 80 million pound bid for the Brazilian. I've not heard any rumors of us actually bidding for Rodrygo. This right here has not been confirmed by anybody. There is no legitimacy to this report right here. I'm just telling you guys, Rodrygo could still be a possibility, but at this moment in time, I don't know how likely it is or how unlikely it is. We recently spoke to Kiko Suarez, who's a Real Madrid fan, on the show, and he still believes that Arsenal is the favorites to sign Rodrygo. If we were to bring in Rodrygo, I think one of Martinelli or Leandro Trossard would have to leave. And at this moment in time, neither of them look like they're headed out the door yet. So we'll wait and see what happens. And that is pretty much that. Is there anything else that we need to discuss today? We spoke about Eze and Simons on the previous shows. Pretty much seems like the situation with Xavi Simons is that we got offered him. The situation with Eze is that we know what Eze's valuation is. Crystal Palace want us to pay the release clause. Arsenal probably want to pay less than the release clause since he has 1 year remaining on his deal after this year, and he's 28 right now, 27 turning 28. Let's be 100% frank. You're not going to be able to get as much money as you would be able to get from him right now. And if you even sold him for 60 million over a 3-year, 20 million installments, you'd still be getting, that would still be being a much better deal than you trying to keep him for another year at Crystal Palace and potentially losing out on more money, as Crystal Palace also got demoted from the Europa League to the Conference League. So we'll wait and see what happens with Eze. Reports came out a couple of days ago that Arsenal have cooled their interest in Eze. I don't know if that's 100% true. We'll wait and see if there is any truth to that. But one thing we do know is that if we were to try to sign Eze, it would not negatively impact our window, from as we would still be trying to bring in one of Eze or Xavi Simons, regardless of if Trossard or Martinelli leave. That's been reported by Ben Jacobs, and that was on TalkSport right there. So you can see right there, what do you call it? They will likely bring in one of Eze or Xavi Simons if Martinelli and Trossard both stay in Arsenal. So there you go. And should one of them go, Mikel Arteta's side could look at signing them both, or we could go and try to go and get Rodrygo or another left winger. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty much everything you need to know for today. That's a handful. I've given you guys a lot right there. We can't sell players because we pay them high wages. Yeah, 100%. We struggle to sell players because we put them on extremely high wages, and the players who have good value in the market, we don't want to sell because they're good players for Arsenal. You also have to factor that part in also. The players who do have value, we don't want to sell them because they have value because we like them. Obviously, Arsenal struggles to sell players, but we should be able to move some players later on in the window. And regardless, the best thing about it is we haven't needed to sell to buy. The best part about this window is we have not needed to sell players in order to purchase players, because in the past, I remember there was windows where we had to wait so late in the window to try to get players in, because as the window gets later and later, it is easier to sell players. It does become a little bit easier to sell players later in the window, as the clubs who are buying are more in a rush and they look around for what's available rather than what they have at the top of their list. They're now looking lower down their list. And as they get lower and lower down their list, the more plausible it is to sell the players who you want to get rid of on the peripherals of your team, as there's going to now be more teams desperate and scrambling and trying to bring in last minute players. Now, Zinchenko, I don't know if somebody's going to come in for him now, but there is a benefit for whoever's going to be purchasing him to wait until later in the window to see if Arsenal lowers their valuation. Arsenal trying to get rid of players. There is a benefit waiting until closer to the end of preseason, as more clubs are then going to be more desperate to bring in certain key players that they might not have been able to find yet. And a lot of guys move later in the window out of necessity, as that is where you're going to find the most cheapest options. And that's where you're most likely going to find the more desperate clubs getting rid of players on loans with an option to buy or an obligation to buy. Just look at Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford should easily be a minimum £40 million player, but because he's on ridiculous wages, Barcelona respectively get him basically for free. And Arsenal would have to do something similar with some of our players. Fabio Vieira, I would expect him to leave. I don't know how much we're going to get for him, but it's going to be a very interesting situation to say so, if I say so myself. Who else is there, and how much could we get for some of these guys? I'm just thinking. Let me see if I have a list somewhere. Let me see if I can find that list. Okay, so Zinchenko, 15 mil max, 10 mil maybe. Lokonga, I don't know how much we can get for Lokonga. How much could we actually ask for Lokonga? Doesn't seem like we could ask for much for Lokonga. He's going on preseason tour, hopefully to increase his value. Maybe 8 million max for Lokonga. Reece Nelson, how much could we get for Reece Nelson? I don't know. How much could we honestly get for Reece Nelson? Let me check his thing. Arsenal Reece Nelson. How much can we get for Reece Nelson? 15 max. 15 max for Reece Nelson. How much is Kivior worth? What is Kivior worth? Let's see. Is Kivior worth anything? Kivior, he is worth, they're saying Kivior is worth 30 million euros. No chance. I would keep Kivior. I don't think you find a player better than what Kivior offered us last season for 30 million. Kivior is a quality player. Trossard, what would you offer for Trossard? 25 maybe, max for Trossard. He is an attacker. And then Fabio Vieira, probably the last player we look to sell. What is Fabio Vieira worth in today's market? Is Fabio Vieira worth even close to what we paid for him? Definitely not. 20 million maybe. So yeah. So overall, what are we looking at? Fabio Vieira, Trossard, that's like 40 million. Kivior, that's another 30 million on top. So that would be potentially 70 million from them three. Unlikely we get 70 million, let's be real. We probably don't sell Kivior. Nelson probably goes for 15. So if we do sell Vieira and Nelson alone, hopefully that can get us at least close to 35 mil. And then Lokonga, Zinchenko, honestly, we're talking about like 50 mil max on incoming sales. I don't see us getting too much money. And that's only if we sell Trossard, we would get maybe close to 70. But yeah. There we go. What are we saying? What are we saying, people? What are we saying? What's next? But yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. There's not much more to be discussed, as the news has pretty much calmed down. Not much more to talk about. Hopefully we'll find out what's going on from here on out, as the window is still open and we need to figure out what the hell we're going to do from here. But hey, we're going to let you go. And it looks like Manchester United are going for Benjamin Sesko. That is the latest. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Talk about Xavi Simons. I did speak about him already. Ekitike before Gyökeres is mad. Not really. We're dealing with Sporting and they're acting like idiots. Bring breaking, the Gyökeres deal stalled. Arsenal considering Jackson. No, we've actually turned down the option to sign Jackson. You missed that part. Talk about Xavi Simons. I already did, actually. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here, boys and girls. You guys, I put the timestamps for anybody who's missed the video and wants to watch it back. The timestamps are in there so you can see exactly what needs to be said. I'm going to send you over now to Kaz. Guys, tell Kaz the Gyökeres bid is fake news. And we're out of here, people. Catch you guys in the next one. Love for the love. Peace.